The bodies were found in a grove of trees. Something very strong tore them limb from limb. They were suspended by vines about 8 feet from the ground. 10 trees that made a circle, all holding a different appendage or body part from the 2 men that met their ultimate fate. But why did it happen to them? What was the reason for such dismemberment? Well, that was my job to find out. I'm a ranger in this forest and have been for the past 20 years. I've seen all manner of animal attacks, but nothing like this. In fact, I really have no idea what would have done this. Cans of gasoline and matches, along with a woman's dead body, was found at the scene. Sarah Martin, a 24-year-old school teacher, born and lived in a town not far from here. She had been raped, robbed, and murdered as 2 low-life thugs decided to bring her here and burn the evidence, along with half of the forest. Now, during the past month, I had to reveal the truth to Miss Martin's friends and family, to tell them of the untimely death of the young woman. Then back to the crime scene. The only tracks left, or even found, were deer tracks. I literally had nothing to go on. No leads. Nothing. But there was a particular legend that I heard about, where this forest was protected under an ancient god. I don't believe in gods, but something did this, and I have to find out what. One of my informants did know a witch, and he introduced me to her. As unconventional as it was, that was the only lead I had in this investigation. She called this being the Ancient One and told me he could be summoned. Not only was it a protector of the forest, but those that need to be avenged. So I figured, what the hell? May I get the answers I needed and close this case up. We had to wait till the next full moon, where we met at the same grove the men were murdered in. I asked her how she knew where it was, and she said he showed her. Could this woman have any connection to the murders? Unlikely. But I have no suspects, so anything at this point would be possible. We waited for an hour out in the woods. That's when the wind began to blow, but it began to blow hard. Not only branches, but trees were moved by the wind itself. Vines crawled from the forest along the ground, which freaked me out. The wind itself seemed to hum, if not say the name of an unknown creature. I don't know what was coming, but I'm sure something was. Soon the wind stopped, and I heard heavy footsteps walking through the forest. It crushed twigs, leaves, and I knew it would soon reveal itself. My hand instinctively went to my gun. I know what was coming, but I was going to be ready. The witch beside me knelt on the ground. In her hand she held a strange wooden amulet. I've never seen what it was and had no idea what it meant. But then again, why would I? The trees seemed to actually part as the creature stepped forth. It was over 10 feet tall, easily the height of a small tree. Its arms were thin and long, the body as well. It was covered in dark brown fur. On 2 strong legs and hood feet it stood, with hands that ended in sharp claws, and its eyes were the color of amber. But the strangest thing was the head. Out of the skull rose a set of antlers, very large, very thick. The face was that of a man, but the nose was different. It was long and blended into the mouth, much like a deer's would. And the eyes was bottomless pits, black as a night and empty of anything else. I don't know what this thing was, but I doubt my little .40 caliber weapon would do anything to it. I shook as I looked upon his face. Goosebumps came upon my arms and skin as a shiver ran down my spine. This thing could easily tear someone apart. Was he the one that killed those men? This creature towering over me, with vines and grass embedded into his fur. Was he the reason I'm here? As if on instinct or reading my mind, vines came down from the trees, wrapping around my wrist, waist, and ankles, lifting me high in the air. I tried in vain to break free, but the grip was incredibly strong. So strong, it began to pull. And I have no doubt those vines could have tore me apart. And that's when it all came to me and made sense. Apparently, whether protecting this forest or avenging the dead girl, this creature attacked these men. or whether the vines did themselves. They pulled the men in the air, ripped them apart, and each tree took a trophy. I must have guessed right, because at that point, the vines lowered me to the ground. And I stood, watching the gigantic creature look down at me and smile. I don't know if it was fear or respect, but instinctively I knelt, lowering my head to not see this thing anymore. I heard it walk away, disappearing once more into the forest. But it didn't matter. I had the answer I needed. What's going to be hard to explain that to my superiors and still keeping my job. But that's a story for another day. Welcome to the Shadowlands. Hope you enjoyed my video tonight. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you want to. And be sure to have a safe and happy holiday next week. I'll be back with something special. And just remember, be thankful for what you have. Those in your life that you love. Even if they're a house full of dogs like me. Keep up the spirit and have a happy Thanksgiving.